All right, I'm gonna do this video with damp hair. I hope you don't mind. I just jumped in the shower this morning, getting ready for the day, just gonna let my waves go. Jeremy brought in the mail and I was like, my mystery bags arrived. Yes, that is right. This is going to be my mystery bag unboxing slash unbagging of my Sydney Grace Christmas in July bags. I have 3 here for you and we are going to open everything up. We're going to be swatching everything. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of makeup on because I'm going to be trying some things on for you as well. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. If you're not new to my channel, you will know how much I love Sydney Grace and how much I love a good mystery deal. So I get these bags every year, at least one, but usually I get all of the options. So I did get one of each of the options this year. We're gonna go into that. I will have timestamps down below in case you are looking for a particular bag. I will try to keep it, I'm lying. It's not gonna be succinct, but that's why I'm gonna have chapters down below so that you can see the try on, the swatches, whatever you are here for. I am here to open these up. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Let's get into it right now. All right, so I'm gonna do my best to do this video and edit it and get it up for you today. So as of today, right now, as I'm filming this, all of the options are available. You have the pink, the teal, and the yellow bag in the light and deep versions. So that's pretty exciting for anyone that was sort of waiting to see potentially what could be inside these in case you wanted to purchase. And then you would still have one day during the sale to be able to snag these. Of course, usually there are some after the sale as well. Okay, so these were $35 and you get $60 plus in each bag of value. So on the day that I purchased, you were able to get one free with a purchase of $60, but you can right now purchase them a la carte. Today is day 8 of the sale, so it is the kind of like everything is on sale other than the single eyeshadows and of course the mystery bag. So maybe if I get this up by tonight, you could still purchase it during the sale day. Let's give a rundown of sort of like the theme of each bag and potentially what you can see inside. So it was interesting, one of my bags, and maybe it's just because it was the one on the top, but one of them was wrapped and the others weren't, which it's fine. They were all packed in there nicely. Sorry, that's probably super loud. So this is the light yellow. Now, I was very tempted to get the deep yellow just because I really loved the deep yellow bag, but this is cute. I think I went with the right one. So I have the yellow, which is Summer Fun, which is going to be mainly peach, orange, and green yellow shades. Then we have the teal bag. Now the teal, this is more of a canvas bag. This is that like, kind of like plasticky, pleathery kind of vibe. I don't know what to call this, you know, it's that more like plastic feel. And this is the Sand and Surf, which is warmer neutrals and blues. And then the pink, so this one's textured, this one is smooth, and it has that plasticky sort of faux leather thing going on, or pleather. This is Rose Garden, cooler, dusty pinks and greens. So I felt like in the teal and pink bags, I was like, ooh, I love the warm neutrals idea and I love the green idea. I was like, I don't really need blues and I don't need dusty pinks, but you know, I'm just a sucker. And when we think about different types of items being in here, that doesn't mean it's all eyeshadow. In fact, the brand went ahead and sort of did like a little sneak peek about potentially what could be in each bag, and I'm gonna talk about that as we go through each one. But I did just want to, before we get into the bags, say sort of what I'm hoping to find in the bags. I absolutely love Sydney Grace's matte and shimmer eyeshadows in the pans. I also really love the cream eyeshadows. I have a lot of them. I was also very curious to try a fragrance. So those are some of the things. I think you know, there's always something that I end up getting that I'm like, oh, I don't know that I ever would have picked that out, but I'm definitely excited to have it. And that's the joy of a mystery bag. Have there also been times where it's like, I'm probably not going to use this? Absolutely. That's just the way this goes, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in as the garbage truck rolls on by. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the teal bag. Again, these are all the light versions, but you have both light and deep available. So the brand, again, did this little sneak peek of what might be in each bag. Product-wise, you know, not like necessarily giving you the full idea. I have to say, I almost for me, it took away a little bit of the fun and the mystery of the mystery bag, but we will see how accurate the description is. I do also just want to give a side note. I'm sure that this is not a guaranteed thing. What is in my Teal bag isn't necessarily exactly what you will get in your Teal bag if you decide to purchase one after seeing this video. Now, from years past, you do run a very good chance of like 50% of it at least being in the bag, but it's not guaranteed. Oh, I also wanted to say, in my bag, I did get one freebie eyeshadow, and then of course the cute little sticker. I should start collecting these and just like popping them on something. I'm not really a huge sticker person, but they are super cute, but I could like, you know, it could be like my little, I've done this every year. Okay, so let's go ahead and see which shade this is. All Mine, and this is a deep shade. So this must be in a palette perhaps. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it in here for now just in case this comes up in one of these, because I do feel like last year the freebies that came were in some of the bags. So I'm gonna just hold this to the side in case it's one that I end up coming across later and can just give away. Okay, so in the Teal bag, the brand said that you could get shadows, pressed blush, pressed highlighter, lip creamer topper, and nail polish. All right, so I'm gonna pull everything out. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the nail polish. This is a cute shade. This is the shade Peach Sweet Tea. Now, as you can tell, I usually go and get my nails done. I'm a hairdresser, so traditional nail polish lasts on me for like half a day. So I do my toes though, so I would probably take advantage of this as a toe color. It is absolutely very pretty. Let's go ahead and take a peek at what the brush looks like on these. Oh, nice brush. Okay. So let's see. Try to give you a peek of that. So it's a nice flat, not too large, not too small brush. So nice high quality. All right, so we're gonna set that one to the side. Then we do have a lip cream or topper in the shade Mary. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all of these out. So now here I see what I'm pretty sure is going to be a highlighter, and this is the shade Radiant Morning. Pretty. I said in my recommendations video that I have found that the recent highlighter formula that has been in the Sydney Grace mystery bags is really quite thick and almost like their shimmer eyeshadow formula, like super emollient, super thick, and that's not necessarily something that I would want to wear. This does also look to be a bit of a cooler tone, so I am going to swatch this for you. I mean, I might eat my words. This actually looks like it might be a bit of a thinner formula though, just from looking, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna hold all judgment. This next one is a blush, and this actually looks to be a very pretty shade. So this is the shade, oh, it's a shimmery blush. This is the shade Peach Flame. I'm gonna actually turn down my light just a little bit here. There we go. Now you can see that better. Very pretty, nice shimmery color. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single eyeshadows. So this is so funny because I have said before that I'm pretty sure that they said, didn't I just say neutral, warm neutral shadows? What is it said? Warmer neutrals and blues. Okay. So I have said before that I am pretty sure that the Sydney Grace team has a lot of cooler undertone folks on the team, at least as far as like who's creating these shadows, because they really are more cool toned. And I just find here, maybe not, maybe when I swatch them it'll be different, but these are not warm tones. So this first shade is a matte, and it is the shade Sandstorm. I probably could have gotten out my magnet, but we don't need to spend a lot of time looking at the pans. It's all about the swatches, right? And then we have another matte in the shade White Sand Beach. This shade looks really pretty. Now, I will say that if you do several years of the mystery bags, you are probably going to have some shades that get similar-ish. Just for me, myself, looking through my palettes of singles, there are definitely some that get close. You know, some might be a little bit lighter, a little darker, the tones might get a little bit different, but of course, I mean, how many shadows can you create that where you aren't gonna have a little bit of crossover? So, and these usually are also limited edition shades. They're not usually shades that you can find in other ways. There sometimes are like lip creams, or I've gotten, I think, a cream shadow before that is not a limited edition, but usually the shadows are ones that you won't find again. Okay, this shimmer shade is absolutely pretty. This is the shade Sand Harbor. This has a bit of texture to the color. You can see like little flecks of, it's like a gold with a little bit of like a champagne-y pink to it. Very, very pretty. And then we have two shades in the teal to blue range. I'm actually pretty happy here because these are shades that aren't like blue. So, I mean, this one is definitely leaning a bit more towards blue, but you definitely have some teal here. So this is Spring Showers, and this is a matte. Kind of, you know, more of like a robin's egg color. And then we have the shade Glistening Stream. Okay, I am actually pretty happy because these are definitely both shades that I could see myself using. The lighter matte color, you know, not as much, but this shade is quite pretty. So the only way to prove what they actually look like is to do some swatches. So I'm gonna do that right now. Let me take off my watch and I'm going to go ahead and pop these swatches on, and then I'll be right back to give you a peek. These are the swatches for the light teal bag. So we have the lip cream, that is the shade Mary. I'm actually not gonna go through all the shades since these are all like limited edition just in the bag, but you have the highlight here. Again, it is pretty thick. It's not as thick as some that I've seen. You probably could blur it out quite a bit to wear it on the skin. This formula just isn't usually my tippy top favorite. The blush is very pretty. It's not overly sheeny. It comes up almost more of like a satin color, but here's what I'm talking about. Okay, these two mattes to me are not at all, they're not even neutral. These are cool toned mattes for sure. Now this shade, that's that really pretty something harbor, Safe Harbor? Sand Harbor. So this shade is really pretty. And then we have that matte teal, and then we also have the shimmery teal. So these are very pretty. It's definitely not a bag that I need. I mean, none of these bags do I need. You know, when they said warmer neutrals, I was expecting warm neutrals. We have one, but these are cooler toned. And I am I would say warm olive skin tone. So on me, even neutral sometimes seems cool, but just looking at these in the pan, you have a very almost like taupey, almost purpley undertoned mid-tone brown. This is definitely a pinky undertoned light shade, so not at all warmer neutral. So I feel a little bit duped on that. But these are very pretty, and I know for sure I will use the blush and the shimmer shades. I mean, I will totally use these shades. I just have a feeling that I already have shades similar in my collection. The lip cream, I'm not a huge, I just don't pull out the ones that I have that much. This does have, not as much as sometimes, but this does have that little bit of rubbery scent that I have smelled before in the lip creams, and then it sort of went away, but I am getting a slight undertone of that in here. So I do want to let you know if you know what I'm talking about. Also, of course, the nail polish, which is really pretty. So this is why I wanted to open up this bag first, because I had a feeling that this would be, if I had any disappointments, it was going to be in this bag. So I was hoping to start out with this and then, fingers crossed, end on a high note. Not super disappointed, also not overjoyed. So we're just gonna leave that there. I don't think I'm gonna use any of these ones to apply. So let's go ahead and go into the next one, and then I'll put some things on. All right, so this might be a good sign for that lip cream if you are looking for something that stays on really well, because let me tell you, I had to just scrub the bejesus out of my arm to get that lip cream off. It smeared around, and then I used 2 different kinds of hand soap and a body soap to try to get that off. So that might, like I said, it might be a good sign that the lip cream is gonna last a really long time on your lips. So if you've never tried a Sydney Grace lip cream, the lip cream formula is definitely opaque, full color, whereas the lip topper is more of a very translucent with a bit of shimmer type of color. So now we're gonna go into the pink, and the reason that I wanted to open this, again, the brand said dusty mauves and greens, which, you know, could be really good. There are creams in here. So the pink, at least I'm anticipating, because the brand said that the pink bag will have shadows, cream blush in a pan, not in a jar, cream highlighter, same in a pan, loose pigment, and fragrance. Okay, so if you know me, you know I absolutely love the cream shadows, the cream blushes, the cream highlighters, and the cream bronzer. I'm really bummed that they didn't bring out more cream bronzers this year. They just really need to nail those shades a little bit better. But we got a cream blush in here and a cream highlighter. I'm just a little worried. We'll see what it's like in here. I'm just worried that the pans will dry out faster as opposed to the jars. But again, I'm gonna hold my thoughts off until the end. All right, so we're gonna pull everything out here. So we did get a fragrance. Honestly, this was the one fragrance that I really wasn't all that interested in. Maybe I will be surprised. And then we have the loose pigment. So let's go ahead and open that up. I'm gonna open up the fragrance at the end. So at the end of this bag, of course. So this shimmer, this loose pigment is Arctic Moon. Ooh, that's really pretty. It's like a taupey, kind of taupey, I would say almost leaning into like a rosy lavender. So this is a loose highlighter is what it says. I am not much, I don't know that that's necessarily going to work on me and my warm skin, but I can tell you right now that I'm probably going to send that to my friend Jody because she loves all things lavender / purple, and I could see that looking really pretty on her if she would like it. So let's start with the blush. This is Pink Hydrangea. This does look to be a cream, and it does look really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna hold off my thoughts again to the end on these cream pans, but I will say that this blush looks really pretty. I'm so curious as to why the brand switched. I don't know if it's packaging costs, if they were having issues with the jars. I'm not quite sure, but I liked my jars personally, but okay, so then we do have a cream highlight. This looks pretty. This is the shade Morning Dew. That looks right up my alley. Like a highlight without being like screaming in your face. Okay, getting excited, folks. We're on the upswing here, baby. We are on the upswing. I'm going to say right now, though, I am very surprised that this is the shadows in the light box, because all of these shadows are light bag, because they are all pretty deep. So let's start out with, ooh, this is pretty. This is the shade Plumosis. I need to zoom you back in. Okay, it of course just got really, really gray out, but I don't want to turn up my lights too much because then it'll really wash out the color. So I'm just trying to make sure that even if I'm a little dark, that once we get these shadow swatches, that they look as close as possible to the reality. All right, so then let's open up. We have a matte here. This is pretty. Ooh, Royal Fern, a very nice murky. Oh, she's okay. We're just gonna pull this. Is she okay? Oh, I just got Royal Fern all over my powder puff. Powder puff saved the day. We just have one tiny little ding. Anyway, this is a murky, beautiful olive color. All right, really liking these so far. Then we have two more mattes and one more shimmer. Ooh, a beautiful murky grayed out plum, Prairie Smoke. Pretty. But again, this is the light bag. So I have a feeling people who love lighter shadows are going to be kind of like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, especially because Sydney Grace shades tend to look a little bit deeper on the eye. This one is a lighter shade. This is Rosado. Again, just like a nice nudie rose. Definitely cooler toned here. So this is giving me a little bit of the vibes of the Eastern Spring palette. Am I making that up? Am I crossing two things? The spring palette, whichever one it is that Sydney Grace brought out in their 4 Seasons palettes, which I was tempted by, but felt like I could maybe get a little bit of the vibe, especially when I saw that we had dusty pinks and greens in this bag, and I knew I was going to be getting this bag. So, ooh, Azalea Bloom. Okay, this is a shade right up my alley. Very, very pretty. All right, so I'm gonna go swatch these out. We're going to check those out, smell the fragrance, and maybe this is the set that I'm gonna put on my eyes. I'm pretty excited about these. Okay, so swatches. By the way, in case you're curious, because I think last year I did like live on camera swatches, I would do that again this year, but that video was like an hour long. And so I'm trying to keep this a little bit more concise. You don't have to see me fiddling with the swatches. I will give you my honest opinion as I, you know, kind of go through them. So this is the loose highlighter. You could absolutely, I mean, you could wear this as a highlighter. Let's go ahead and sheer it out at the top, like going over my wrist. It's pretty. See now there, that looks really pretty. It's going to enhance texture, which obviously most highlight does, but that is actually pretty darn lovely. You could pack it on as a eyeshadow pigment or an inner corner, like that, if you love a good loose. The creams here, y'all, they feel very good. They are thin, emollient. This blush is absolutely pretty. The highlight is very pretty. However, I feel like I have a pan from Sydney Grace, not a pan, a jarred highlight from them that's similar to this perhaps. I will go ahead and take a peek. The eyeshadows are absolutely beautiful. We will probably use these on the face because I'm really excited. We'll do the eyes first and then the cream products on the face. Now here's the thing about these pans. You are absolutely not going to want to keep these pans in something that you also have eyeshadows in, because they will get full of powder. They will get full of fallout, kick up, shrapnel, whatever you like to call it. I'm gonna set these to the side. There's no way. There's no way. That really is the one thing. So you're gonna want a separate palette. I thought maybe they were doing these and having compacts, kind of like something like this. This is just the Phytosurgeons one. So maybe if they had a compact and then you could like pop something inside of it. But since they don't, that's a bit of a miss for me. I'll be honest. Okay, let's go ahead and tie the hair back and get down to business. So let me know your thoughts. Did you have the jars? If you haven't seen the jars, I should have reached out to the team when I saw that they were doing that. So these are the jars. This is one of the blushes, but all of the products came like this. Beautiful, easy to work with. I would personally pay more to just have an individualized system like that, but that's just me. All right, so let's go ahead and do our little eye look. Would you agree with me that these are darker than maybe what you would anticipate in a light bag? I'm just gonna tap into that Royal Fern, that green shade, and just get this worked into the crease. I'm using a Wayne Goss 17, by the way. And I'm just trying to use a light amount of this. Now this is definitely on the skin. It's a little bit more of like a grayed out, and I think I kind of said that, like a murky olivey shade. It's definitely more grayed out. Okay, so that is Royal Fern. I'm gonna pop over that beautiful plum shimmer, Azalea Bloom. Let's go ahead and grab a shimmer brush. I'm gonna take the Sigma, this is actually the F70, it's a concealer brush, and I am going to use a little bit of Fix Plus, partially because I always do that with my shimmers, but also because clearly I have makeup, I have concealer on, I've got all the things on, so I really would like to avoid fallout if I can, but I'm excited to try the shade. Now, while this shade is very pretty, I noticed when I was swatching it too, it's not high shine. I would say this is more of like a, I'm not gonna say satin, but it's not as like wet foiled looking as some of the Sydney Grace shimmers can be. obviously when you get into deeper tones too, you know, it never like looks quite as like shimmery on the eye, but whew, we are getting quite the like forest swamp fairy vibe going on here. So someone asked me in, I think it was maybe my recommendations video, is it true that Sydney Grace shadows do not have fallout? Honestly, depending on how you apply shadow, just about any brand can have fallout. You know, like if you go in heavy-handed, you've got a lot on your brush, or you go in and you really like move the brush around a lot while you're still laying down the product, you can get fallout from just about anything. But I will say that I do feel like this brand, compared to a lot of others, has less fallout in general. Part of that I think is these mattes are pretty hard pressed. Not like impossible to get out of the pan hard, but you know, some of the brands that I enjoy like Divina, they are a lighter feeling, more powdery matte, and those will have a bit more kick up, but they do also really like build up really beautifully and blur out really beautifully. So, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. I love both, but there definitely is a formula difference there. So just one little bit of fallout here, and that's probably from talking and not paying attention to what I was doing. Yeah, this is definitely making me feel like I do not need that other palette. Although I think that this is probably deeper. So I'm gonna go ahead, just speaking of Divina, by the way, I'm gonna take the D103, I'm gonna go into that really dark matte Prairie Smoke, and that's gonna be what we use on the lower lash line. All right, woo, we are dramatique. All right, now on the very edge, I'm gonna take that light mauve and I'm gonna use that just to kind of like blur out right along the edge here. Do we like that? It definitely made it more plummy again. I like both, I like both. I might go back into that fern shade and top it over the top. This actually, see, this is what I'm saying. Like that was, oops, sorry. I think I just hit my sparkling water. That was this shade right here up in the crease. These definitely come up darker than what they appear. So I'm gonna just take this same brush, dust it off, and then I'm gonna go back into Royal Fern just to try to get a bit more of that green back in the crease. Okay, good enough. Now let's go ahead and take that loose pigment, what is that called? Arctic Moon. And I'm gonna wet a pencil brush, and I'm just gonna use this as my inner corner shade. And all I did, by the way, is dumped some into the cap. It is a sifter, but the sifter does not have a top on it, which is also a little bit of an annoyance for me, because that means you're basically never gonna travel with this, because it would just be a hot mess, because you'd have it like half of it would have come out by the time you get to your destination, you know, like it will all just come out of those sifting holes. This is very pretty. It gives me a little bit of the vibes of the Master Plan Cream Shadow or the Greatest Gift eyeshadow, except you know how if you are a big fan of Sydney Grace, but both of those have almost like a light greeny, pearly, almost like into a pinky shift. This is definitely more like cool toned all the way around. Like you can see it in the cap there. So that's what I have on my inner corner there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop on some of these creams. So we'll take this blush, Pink Hydrangea. I'm gonna pop it on the Larifay F11. I don't know where my little Sydney Grace brush is. There is actually one I think that comes in the yellow bag. I don't know what kind of brush it is, but I think that they had said brush. I got the little one that's really actually good for popping into the cream jars in a mystery bag last year, and I do use that one quite a bit, but I don't know where it is. It's probably in my dirties. That's probably where it is, along with half of my other brushes. It's probably ridiculous. That's been on my list. And it keeps staying on the list. Okay, this is pretty. It has a nice little bit of sheen, but I think that that is just from the product itself. Like, it's not shiny. Or if it is, it doesn't have any like shimmers to it. It's just that nice pearlescence. Very pretty. Excited to have this one. I don't know how I'm going to store it though. I'm probably going to end up putting it into maybe even like, oh, one of these. I've got these Makeup Geek things like this. I'll go ahead and pop this in one right now. The only thing that I am worried about with these is that I feel like these are going to dry out faster because this is not airtight. It's not airtight. So that's a little bit worrying. Okay, I'm going to just use my fingers, can you believe it, to pop on a little bit of this Morning Dew as a highlight. These are very, very emollient. This, I think, has a little bit more give, like it, not a lot. It's not super greasy feeling. It still has that, it slips, but it doesn't stay dewy on the finger. It dries down, or on the face. It dries down pretty quickly. Not so quickly that you can't move it around, but like I felt like that's part of the creams in the jars as well, that it doesn't stay dewy on the skin, although it looks really nice and gives you that glisten. Pretty. I'll just do a little bit on the Cupid's bow, or a lot of it, and halfway onto my lip. Geez, okay. I don't love it as a Cupid's bow highlight, but it does look nice on the cheeks. Look at that. I mean, this down here is from the blush. This up here is from the highlight. Really, really pretty. All right, no complaints there, other than not super excited about them being pans versus jars. I'm pretty sure that this is also less product. Nope, still 5 grams, so I think it's the same. Okay, here we have the finished eye look, well, the finished look, really, other than my eyebrows, we'll get there eventually, with this set from the light pink bag. So that's these 2 cream products and these eyeshadows, which I used all but one of. That's great. And then we still have to get into the fragrance. Of course, I used that beautiful translucent loose pigment as well. I did just want to quickly, I know I was saying about the cream highlight that I felt like it was similar to one that I had in the pan. So I'm gonna take, I hate it when I say that. I'm going to take this. This is Morning Dew, and we're gonna take Head in the Clouds. I don't know if this was specific to the mystery box last year or if it is available individually, but either way, if you have it, this might be helpful to you. Okay, so looking at these, this one is Morning Dew and this one was Head in the Clouds. So they're pretty close. They're not exactly the same, but pretty close. The formula is a little bit different. I will say that starting off, the pan version feels a bit more loose. It dries down though. You know, it's not like completely dry, but just like the cream version in the pot did, it doesn't stay tacky at all. It feels really nice. It feels moisturized, but it isn't like tacky. So all in all, I am pretty happy so far. We're about to get into the fragrance. I do just want to say, I really think if you're gonna offer pans like this in a mystery bag, then they really should have put a palette. You know, if you're gonna have a loose cream, you have to have a way to protect that. You are 100% not going to want to set it like this in something. You're gonna want either something where you put your creams into a separate palette, like I have the Salt New York palettes. Even a Sydney Grace regular palette might work just fine. If you like to do individuals, something like this, like I have these Makeup Geek ones that I got during the brand closeout. So that's a little bit of a miss for me as far as the packaging. But the product so far, it seems very nice. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the Notes of Night Jasmine so we can try it together. Okay, so this is the 10 milliliter atomizer. I did see that the brand said that for international orders, they would be doing roller balls so that you could get them shipped to you if you are not in the continental US. Then we have, so this is normally $10. The 50 milliliter mister would be $40. So you have this opaque packaging with the brand logo. Weird. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. So it's a pop-up. I was like, I can't get it open. All right, so I will be honest, this was the one that just didn't really call to me. We have a floral scent with bergamot, cassis, rose, neroli, jasmine, and musk. There are a lot of notes in this one that a lot of people are not going to care for. I mean, I feel like neroli and jasmine and rose are all scents that people either really enjoy or really don't. So I do think, as far as the brand, for throwing one in a mystery box, they maybe should have selected one of the other ones. There were two others fragrances that I was really interested in and was tempted to snag today. What this will do, even if I can like a scent with these notes if it's done well. And I thought, well, this could give you an idea of the quality of the fragrance, even if it isn't a fragrance that I necessarily enjoy. So let's check it out. Okay, so I'm not gonna put this on my skin right now though, because I already have something on. Just from this, I sprayed it twice on here and it's like really coming over. It is nice. You get the bergamot right away. It's not as strong as what it could have been. The only thing for me, it's actually pretty light, but it does have a bit of a powdery note to it, which is not usually my favorite. Honestly, this smells like nice deodorant. Can I just be honest? This right away, I was like, oh, this smells like nice deodorant. So if you like a lightly floral, little bit citrusy, because of that bergamot, you get that more like, almost like limey note in here. The jasmine isn't overpowering. You get a bit of the rose, but that powder, it just gives me like classic deodorant vibes. Not in a necessarily bad way. It's a cozy scent, but not a favorite. It's not, I was worried that these were gonna smell really, really cheap. This does not smell like that. You know, it's okay. The scent is not for me, but the quality of it seems okay. I don't know the longevity of it. It's pretty light. So don't hate it, but don't love it. The one that I was actually really interested in, let's see here. Was it My Vision? That might have been the one that sounded like it would be a good one to try. I just saw that the small size is already gone. The bergamot, coconut cream, pineapple, teakwood, mahogany, oak moss, driftwood, and amber. That sounds really interesting. I don't know. I'm worried that musk in their sense is powder. Musk to me is not powdery. So, it's okay. It's a great way to get to try it when you consider that these are, you know, $10. Obviously, during the 35% off sale, you could get them for a pretty decent price. So this was a good way for me to get to try out the quality of the Sydney Grace fragrances for the future. I can see wearing this, but cocktailing it with other things. At some point on a day off, maybe tomorrow, I will wear this and just see what the longevity is on it. So stay tuned. I'm sure I will update you in the future on this. It's just not a scent that I absolutely love. However, the eye look I absolutely love. So I feel like this was a pretty good bag for me. Let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know if you got the light bag. Did you get these shadows? Because they're not exactly light. They're not exactly light. The face products, which I think is, you know, really more what they go towards, is products that will work on lighter skin. I'd have a feeling that in the deep bag, maybe it's just this shade, the lighter sort of like dusty mauve shade that is changed in that bag into something deeper for deeper skin tones. So I'm not sure, but let me know if you got a deep or a light bag. Let me know comparison wise down in the comments. All right, let's move on to the yellow bag. All right, yellow bag. This is the one that I'm really looking forward to seeing the shadow shades of. This also is said to have a lip cream, clear eyebrow gel, a brush, and cream shadow. So the brow gels are new this year. I can totally get why they put a clear in. I will be curious because they have both a high hold and a regular hold. I'm kind of hoping it's high hold because I love me a good, very high hold, but I have a feeling it'll probably be the regular. Without further ado, without further yammering, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm just realizing that my zipper on here is kind of broken. It's sort of like open on one end. I will be honest, this feels like the least quality bag that I've gotten in the Sydney Grace sales before. Just to make a note of that. Okay, I'm gonna pull everything out here. All right, let's start with the brush. I probably could have opened this bag and maybe used this brush. So this is the Tiny Writing E05. Let's go ahead and pull this one. It's an angled eye shader. I don't actually have any Sydney Grace eye brushes. I have to say, I love the feel and the look of these. They are decent quality. They're decent quality. I like now that they have the brush number printed on. The original set did not, so I'll be really excited to try this again. I will give you an update in the future. That'll be really great for applying cream shadows. Speaking of, let's go ahead and look. I'm excited because this is not one that I have, so this must be a new / limited edition. So this is Golden Horizon. Okay, this is a really interesting shade. So what I'm gonna do, the brand used to put the labels, I probably don't need to be doing this right now with all of you, but they used to put the labels on the cap, and I like it that way because then when I have them stored in my drawer, I store them like this, then I can see which one I'm grabbing for. Okay, Golden Horizon, a beautiful, if you can see it in there, golden shade. Super fun. Where am I gonna put the rest of these? Are the rest of these shadows? Yes, okay, great. So that means we will have room. I can shove them into this palette. The brow gel regular hold, we'll give that a go. This is, ooh, nice packaging. Way to go, Sydney Grace. Heavy, really nice. And then our lip cream is the shade Rachel, and this is again a lip cream, not a lip topper. Would have been nice if one of these was a lip topper, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, so let's go ahead and get out these shadows. These are pretty, y'all. I'm excited for these. From what I can see so far, they're stacked on top of each other. All right, so we have the shade, ooh, this is really pretty. Picnic Basket, a nice orangey shade. Lovely. Okay, so fun. I like this set of shadows. So this one is Beach Ball. This is fun. This is like a sort of cucumber melon, like a honeydew shade. Just reminds me of like back in the day, cucumber melon everything, you know? And we have 5 shadows, by the way. Okay, so we have one more matte. This matte is absolutely beautiful. Oh, I have this matte. I'm not gonna swatch it. I'll pull out my Geisa Lang from my set. That's kind of a bummer. Oh, it looked a little bit different. It looked a little bit more chartreuse in here. Or not quite chartreuse, but like a little bit more green than it is. I'll pull out my Geisa Lang. I might as well put that one into a giveaway. Then we have the shade Flip Flops. I don't think I have Flip Flops. This reminds me of the cream shadow Lake Days. Very pretty. I don't think I have this one. I'm gonna double check before I swatch it since I already have to go through and pick out Geisa Lang. And then we have State Fair. This is also very pretty. A corally, sort of like peach melba shade. All right, I'm gonna go and grab Geisa Lang to be able to do the swatches of everything for you, including the cream shadow, of course. We'll do some brows and we might as well pop on that lip cream. Okay, so I'm zooming you in here so that I can show you these swatches. So here we have that lip cream. That is the shade Rachel. It's definitely a more corally shade. Then we have that Golden Horizon. It is a bit more sheer, I think, than a lot of the cream shadows, but it has a, yeah, I would say it's a sheer golden base, and then it has a lot of gold micro sparkle to it. It is not, from what I can tell, that chunkier texture that I don't care for. There were 1 or 2 shades, formulas from Sydney Grace when they started putting the larger mica in them that got a little bit chunky on the eye. This went on pretty smooth, so I'm pretty sure that it's gonna go on the eye smooth. Then we have the shadows. So this is the one that I had, Geisa Lang, and then the rest are new to my collection. And then of course, so other than those things, we have the eyeshadow brush, which I did not use today, but it feels pretty nice. This, again, is going to be great for cream shadows. I like an angled brush like this because you can, you know, lay it flat on the lid to apply and then just really take that angle and blur it out. It's fairly dense. It's a fairly dense brush. So now we have the clear brow gel to use. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that in, and we'll go ahead and pop on the lip color too. So I'm gonna put Rachel on my top lip, and then what I thought I would do is take that other one, Mary, and put it on the bottom lip, because I personally don't think that a peachy lip is really like a corally lip is gonna go so great with this look. So I can mix the two together and then we can have something that's a little more suitable. So this is, yeah, it's just like, it's like sweet chemicals. I don't love the scent. It does go away. I'm always a little worried with colors like this that have, let's just wait until we're done talking, Kelly, shall we? I'm always worried about colors like this that have a bit of a white base to them, that they are going to leave the dreaded ring of death on the inside after a while. We will have to see. Knocking shades over. Sorry, Mary. Okay, so we're going to take Mary and put it on the bottom. This is the one from the first set. Oh, see, this is also, I already got it on my Invisalign. This is also quite peachy. I'm going to zoom you in really close. They're very close. Whoop, wrong way. So Mary on the bottom, I already cannot remember which one I got from which bag. I think Mary was in the first one. More nude, less peach. I thought it was a little bit dustier mauve, but evidently not. Okay. We're just going to try to blend these together. So here's the thing about a formula like this. Again, it got on my teeth. It keeps getting on my teeth. It's so opaque, which can be really great if you like a shiny, opaque lip, but it is so opaque that it's going to move around. And it's like, usually something that's really pigmented and really opaque, I don't want it to be something that's going to move around. Now I put quite a bit on here so that you could really see the color. It's probably going to be good for me to blot a little bit of that off. That's probably more how I would wear this. Oh my gosh, this formula. It's probably going to take me forever to get that swatch off again. All right, let's go ahead and throw some brow gel in. We can see how I feel about this. Like I said, I really like a high hold brow gel, but you know, sometimes on days, like if I'm just putting in a brow powder, it's got a fairly small wand. Nothing too special. If you were to get one of the tinted ones, I feel like this would be great because then you wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't be making a mess everywhere. It's not super wet. I'm gonna just give it a little pump here. Just making sure I actually have some on my brush. There's not a lot that's coming off. So that could be good if you like something, I mean, yeah, there's not really a lot that comes off. Now, either this brush doesn't hold a lot of product or the little like scrapey thing inside scrapes a lot of it off. That's very technical, Kelly, because it's not like goopy, it's not getting wet, which could be nice if you know, already have some brow product laid down. Okay, I've got one here that's acting a fool. So it could be nice if you have a brow product already laid down and you're not wanting to get it super wet. You know, if you like a brow pomade or even a pencil and it starts to get wet and then all of a sudden your brush strokes start carrying your brow product everywhere. What I usually do is I put my brow product in, at least my fixative brow product in, and then I'll go through with some color. But if I'm just doing something quick like powder, I will place some powder down and then just go over. Usually on those days, I'm honestly just putting brow gel on my outer corner to like lay those hairs down and then maybe give me a little lift at the front. So we're gonna see how this goes. I feel like my lighting has been all over the place, so please excuse me on that. All right, hilarious. I put the brow gel in and then I kind of got chatty and forgot to really like let you know what my thoughts are. And then I just realized after closing out the video that I hadn't given any thoughts on the brow gel. So I am quickly just putting in some of my RMS back to brow powder. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna focus this on the mids to tail of my brow today. I don't really need it a lot. Like, I'm gonna be at home editing this video, and we are taking Jet to his puppy training tonight, so it definitely doesn't need to be a glammed out day. Okay, just enough to give me a little bit of color. So this feels, and I've probably had this in my brows for about 10 minutes now. So it feels a little bit like a hybrid between a wax and a gel. It's not crispy. It does have a little bit of pliability to it. So I don't think it's gonna be the strongest, but I do like that it's not leaving my brows super crispy. This is definitely gonna be like an everyday kind of hold. I should try to see if it can tame down. Like on this side, these guys over here like to be ridiculous. Yeah, this is gonna be like a light to medium hold, I would say. So this is not necessarily something that's gonna replace anything in my favorites. The regular and the stronghold at full price are $12. So if you got them for like 30% off, that's actually a pretty good deal. I mean, that's gonna be honestly less than most average drugstore brands anymore, I feel like. So it's okay. I like the packaging. It feels pretty good. I like that it's not super crispy. It's just not as strong as what I like. I would be curious about the extra strength hold, but it wouldn't be something that I would like go onto the site just to buy. Does that make sense? So you'll have to let me know, again, your thoughts. Like, brow products are so personal for everyone, so I would love to know your thoughts down below. Okay, I just had to hop in to give you my thoughts on that. I just wanted to give you a few thoughts on this. Now, this again was said to be summer fun. I just can't believe that the one yellow shade that they put in here is a pre-existing shade. Like, that's a little bit of a bummer. From somebody that loves yellows, I was really looking forward to some fun new yellows from the brand, and obviously I didn't get that. That's a bit of a miss for me. That being said, I do think that these shades are fun. You know, definitely, I mean, I totally get that, like flip-flops, toes in the sand kind of vibe from this. I'll be interested to see how the cream shadow goes because it doesn't really have a lot of a base to it. I could see putting in a matte cream shadow, laying that down and putting this over the top, but I don't think, if it applied the way that it did in the swatch, I wouldn't wear this on its own because it wasn't opaque enough. But that's just me. But this could be a really nice topper shade. Am I missing anything else from this? We got the lip cream, the brow, the brush, which is gonna be great. And then the shadows, I think that that's it. I definitely feel like I could have passed on the teal bag. I knew that going into it. I was just hoping that the neutrals in here would be worth it, and then the rest would be sort of a gamble that hopefully I would find something that I like. However, I'm probably not going to use that highlighter, and these are not warm neutrals. These are not warm neutrals. So that's a little bit of a miss for me. I think for me, surprisingly, the dusty pink bag. I actually thought that the yellow bag was going to be my fave. The dusty pink bag is probably the winner for me. So let me know your thoughts. Do I have any regrets? Not necessarily. I mean, that's the fun of all this. If you have specifics that you're looking for, the mystery bags are obviously not the greatest way to go. I love opening these. I think it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this. And so I hope you enjoyed getting to see me unbox. I hope that I'm not seeming like a negative Nancy. There are definitely things in here that I'm gonna love playing with, but I wanna give you my true and honest thoughts on what I think about each bag. You know, specifically the value for me with the way that I like to apply makeup, with the makeup shades that I like to wear, all of those things. If you're similar, then maybe this video is helpful to you. Hopefully you enjoyed getting to see all the swatches. All right, lovelies. So this was a fun one. I always enjoy doing this every year. Let me know which bags you got down below. I will be very excited to continue this Sydney Grace chat with you. I don't think I'm gonna be ordering anything else. You know, when I was going through my singles, kind of deciding what I wanted to do, I was like, I have so much wonderful makeup that I love and use a lot of already. I was really hoping to add a couple more warm neutrals to my collection, which I didn't get here. But I have to say, I'm really liking the eye look. So, you know, some fun surprises, some disappointments, but that's the way it goes with just about every mystery bag slash box from every brand out there. All right, lovelies, it's always great getting to talk Sydney Grace with you. Again, let me know your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to give this video a like on your way out if you found it helpful, and I will see you really soon.